Hello there everybody, I'm Mr. Gamer Pie. This is Let's Play Crash Purple and Spyro Orange Part 4. Here we're going to be doing the minigames of the Ice World. Now here we start off with a new minigame. It involves Crash with a jetpack going through a big tunnel. We're going to be seeing this minigame a couple times, and it's probably one of the longest of Crash's minigames. There's one that probably rivals this one. This is a pretty tough minigame, because you press the A button to control your vertical positioning. So, you know, it's kind of awkward to control. It also takes a long time. I mean, we're almost a minute in, and we're about halfway done with the level now. So, yeah, that can be rather tough. It can also be tough if you're trying to get all the boxes. Crash's hitbox is a bit bigger than it appears to be, but, you know, you can easily run into a wall or something. Any walls, any floors, anything that isn't a box or a Wumpa fruit will kill you instantly, so that's unfortunate. No Aku Aku boxes to give you any hits either. In general, if you follow the line of fruit, you'll always go the right pathway, so make sure to do that. In this version of the minigame, it isn't so pertinent since there's generally only one pathway to follow, but later versions of this minigame will have several pathways that are possible to take. In general, this is just getting you warmed up to the idea. They're going to make it harder later on. Alright, and here we have a new Spyro minigame. This is another vehicle that Spyro can ride. It's this magnet tank, as opposed to the wheel tank that we found in the forest area. Or, well, no, his castle area, actually. And you press the A button to flip from the ceiling to the floor, or vice versa. And you can also fire these little missiles that you find. However, you can only hold one missile at a time. You need to be careful about when you fire this. I generally like to fire while I'm still on top of another missile. And sometimes it can end up with me having an extra missile to fire. So, that's not a bad idea. Now, one thing that I don't like about this minigame is that oftentimes, you see, like here I'm on the ceiling, but I can't really see what's on the ground. So there could have been like an electrical flooring right there, and I could have gotten hit, and there would have been no real reason, or well, no real way for me to tell that I would have gotten hit there. In this minigame, the main differences are where the enemies appear and where the missiles appear. Overall, it's not that different. And that, I just really couldn't avoid that effectively. I usually like to play conservatively with my missiles due to how they're of limited supply. But sometimes this doesn't work out too well. Sometimes you might misjudge where you need to fire. Sometimes it looks like you can hit the enemy from the ground, but you can't. Other times it looks like you can hit the enemy from the ceiling, but you can't. It's, yeah, overall, understanding your position in space is very important, but sometimes it's a little difficult to do. This is another minigame that gets incredibly difficult later on. But for now, we've completed this, but not without an outtake or two. Just look at this. Yep, that killed me. Alright, now this one. During my practice run, I actually completed this minigame on my first time perfectly, no problem. So, whenever I was doing it in recording for the Let's Play here, I didn't really expect to have any problems. I had problems. I only showed 2 outtakes, but that's because I had like 3 or 4 outtakes that did the exact same thing. And so I just showed me doing that once. You see, there's one of these jumps that's coming up here that kind of tricks you with the position of the fruit. We're about to see it. Not that one. But basically, the fruit appears to be earlier than where you actually need to jump. This one. I missed that jump like 5 times or something. And so I missed the area up top where you get the boxes of that area. And I've been trying to just do everything straightforward so that I would get to the end, grab the gem and the crystal simultaneously, like this. So if I missed a box, I would just, you know, fall off a cliff, like you're seeing me do here. Then there was also another outtake where I tripped over a nitro box. That was nice. Alright, Arctic Attack. It's another space shooter, guys. Yep, it's Spyro's third iteration of his space shooters. Getting hit right off the bat. It's exactly like the one where he's flying over the ground, except now he's flying over the ground in a spaceship. Yeah, I feel like they just made two versions of that same minigame, just so that they could say that they weren't using the exact same minigame in every single world. Because seriously, one version of this minigame will appear in every world. In at least one world, both of them appear, so... yeah. There are 5 minigames in every world, alright? Now, 2 of them will be some iteration of the space shooters, some combination of the 3. So that's 2 that are out. Another one will be the pinball, or, well, the breakout minigame. So that's another one that's out. So basically, that just leaves 2 minigames left in a world that will be different between each world. And even then, a lot of the times, it's just a button-mashing minigame. We haven't seen any of the button-mashing minigames quite yet, but we'll see one later this episode. And we'll see the other one next episode. But yeah, there's 2 button-mashing minigames. Also, I just sort of kamikaze my way through there. No outtakes! Alright, Sheep Patrol. This is the last time that we'll be seeing this minigame for a little while at least. And it's not really any different than the minigames previously. Yeah, just stop the sheep from running into the nitro boxes, because Crash can't take like 2 steps forward out of their range. No, he has to shoot the sheep that are coming towards him. One little aspect here is that if 2 sheep are standing right on top of one another, you can actually defeat them both with 1 missile. But, there's not really much point to doing that. I don't do it anytime here. But yeah, otherwise, it's not a very difficult minigame. It's a little bit more difficult since I'm using a GameCube controller, since I'm using playing this on the Game Boy player, so occasionally I'll, go too far up or down. Alright, now remember last time we were playing minigames and I said that the breakout minigame would likely have more outtakes than any other kind of minigame? Get ready to see that here. I also mentioned how at these faster speeds, the minigame would kind of glitch some with the balls. You get ready to see that too. Not yet, of course, this is my successful run. But yeah, if there's a shield guy up at the front, you really don't want the ball to hit that shield. I got lucky on this round, hitting it again, but oftentimes with the random bounce angles of the balls, it's just gonna bounce too far. Alright, let's look at this outtake. What goes wrong here? Oh, look at that! The ball went straight through the enemy in front of it. Like, you see that guy? I hit the blue enemy. And the ball that came out of the blue enemy went through the shield enemy. If that hadn't happened, I would have probably won that round. Yeah, it's just... And then there's, you know, me hitting the shield of the front guy. Expecting it to, like, bounce off of his side instead of, you know, bouncing past him. And that was just my fault. I didn't position myself that well in that one. But yeah, just... The way that the ball does not bounce consistently off of their sides is really bad. And hey, look! Here's the last of the outtakes, where things just go wrong. Alright, Frigid Waters. As I mentioned last time we were playing minigames, this is the minigame that I got my last crystal on. And the thing is that I always forget why this minigame is hard. Even back whenever in that episode I blamed the whirlpools. No, it's not the whirlpools. We'll be seeing the real reason why this minigame is hard here in a second. And I'm pretty sure that they only appear in this minigame. And yeah, here they are. It's the missiles. Oh my gosh. Why would they do this? the missiles are like under the water, so they're almost impossible to see. It's incredibly annoying. But yeah, I made it through anyway. Also the nitro boxes. Nitro boxes next to whirlpools, that's a bad combination. So yeah, here we see me getting completely destroyed by the missiles. Fun. And then here we see me just sort of run into a mine, avoid the whirlpool, and get blown up by a nitro. Alright everybody, here's your first button mashing minigame. That is required for like a regular minigame. Just press the A button a lot, and then whenever it gets past the arrow, press the B button. On harder difficulties, pressing the B button puts the meter further back. But, otherwise it's not that different. So like, on easy mode, if you make the meter go all the way forward, and you press the B button, it won't even get outside the range that you can attack with. Like, it won't go past the arrow, but then on hard mode, it does. And here's Crash's first pinball minigame. He doesn't have one in every world, but he does have a couple. And as you can see, the ball speed is way slower. It's really... I feel like the balls were meant to go at this speed. Spyro's easy mode has slower balls than this, but the normal mode has faster balls. And obviously hard mode, those things go ridiculously fast. They're not meant to go at that speed. Alright, now here we have Spyro's last minigame for this world. It's a tank. Yep. It's just a tank minigame. Woohoo. A good idea is to stay on the bottom for this minigame. Because there's always going to be a pathway at the bottom. Or at least, well, like, whenever there's split paths, the bottom path is usually one of the safest ones. But yeah, there may be a reason why Crash's version is so much better than Spyro's. It's because, you see, the Crash team at Vivendi Visions was working on the 4th Crash Bandicoot game for the Game Boy Advance. And, you see, it was their idea to make the crossover, essentially. Like, they went over to the Spyro team and they were like, hey guys, well, let's make a crossover. And the Spyro team agreed. And so that's my theory as to why the Crash game is better, because the Crash team was probably the ones that were really spearheading this operation. But it really, it still doesn't make sense that Crash's, like, cutscenes are better than Spyro's. That still doesn't make any sense. Just look at this minigame. It goes on for so long. And keep in mind, you have to play this minigame 3 times. This specific minigame 3 times to get to the end of the game. But also, each one of these minigames 3 times. There's no way to go faster or anything. It's auto-scrolling, so you're going to be waiting a long time. It's really bad. In any case, it's time for some boss battles. Alright, so Crash here fights Tiny, and it's basically the only time that I use the cannon's ability to change its orientation without changing its direction. Tiny will fire off a cannonball, and then he'll, well, become vulnerable. His shield will disappear. Then he starts doing this where cannonballs spot out of the sky. Expect to start dodging projectiles like these fairly often in future versions of the tank minigame. And now we get to the one way in which Spyro's game is actually better than Crash's. So you see, here's Crush and Gulp. Crush is the blue guy on the ground, and Gulp is the green guy in the air. I don't recall Gulp ever flying, but then again, I'm not too familiar with the series. Those laser cannons on his back are certainly a standard. But yeah, Spyro actually has boss battles that involve his normal gameplay platforming mechanics. This is the only way in which he's better, basically. This doesn't stop him from having some boss battles where he has minigame mechanics. It's not always minigame mechanics. But yeah, simply do your head bash on Crush whenever he's over one of these 4 positions that Gulp can fire down on, and then just hope that Gulp fires down on him. He seems to do things pretty randomly, so it's hard to say when he'll launch his little energy balls. And now, after 3 hits, Crush will begin to swing around his little club with the shield above his head. At this point, you want to stun lock him, because you can fire breathe on him to make him stunned. And then you want Gulp to basically destroy himself by shooting an energy ball at Crush's shield. And there we go, it hit him. You can kind of stun lock Crush anyway. He will still get to move occasionally, but not that much. In general, just keeping him in one place is probably the best idea, because eventually Gulp will hit all the possible positions. And yeah, whenever Crush has the shield out in front of him, he will actually go off screen and then turn around. However, whenever he has the shield above him, he'll just remain on screen the entire time. This boss battle is a waiting boss battle. Oh boy. Crush does get up after fairly random intervals of time, so it's not exactly an exact science. Alright, now here we have Spyro's cutscene. Now look at this, like, Ripto just starts insulting Cortex and he just sort of, like, takes it in this cutscene. Like, he doesn't fight back. But oh boy, it's Nina! And then here we have Blinky explaining that, you know, our buddies are kidnapped, oh no! But yeah, Nina is new to the series. This is a brand new character, never before seen. And she was actually introduced in this game, and she would go on to appear in a couple other Crash games. And now here we have Crash's version of the cutscene. And now here's what I like better about this cutscene. You see, Ripto insults Cortex, but Cortex also insults him back. So, yeah, also Nina actually gets to say something in this cutscene. So, that's nice. But yeah, Crash actually doesn't get that other part of the Spyro's cutscene though, so he's actually inferior in this scenario. Lol, JK, he gets it. Yeah, he just has it as the intro cutscene for the next world. In any case, I've been Mr. Game & Pie, and I'll see y'all next time whenever we go into the Fire World to save our friends. See you later.